Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday, and then on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram. We appreciate you joining us. Now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here. Hello, welcome once again to another episode of Waywut. My name is Darrell, and I will be guiding us on our journey tonight. And here I am with the guy who slung stakes with me while we both wore cowboy hats and nut hugger jeans, Jason.
Hell yeah, we did. And boy, did they hug our nuts.
Yeah, I mean, my episode's not exactly a funny one today, but I still wanted to get a laugh somehow, and it always makes me laugh that we had to dress up like cowboys to be waiters when we were at Trail Dust. So,
and I wore cowboy boots for exactly one day on that job, and then I switched very quickly.
Yeah, I never did. I wore my docks whenever.
Yeah, I switched to that. No way you could wear cowboy boots for that long on a concrete.
Dude, so I was in San Antonio like after Thanksgiving, and the hotel I was staying at, there was like a Western wear store right across the street, which I like cowboy boots. I just don't get them because they're fucking expensive. But it's going out of business. It's sort of like everything's like 50 to 70% off. And then it was right after Thanksgiving, so it was a Black Friday special, so an extra 10% off. The cheapest pair of boots in there was like $160 after all the discounts. I mean, none of them were. I'm like, fuck you. No.
Yeah, for something to sit in your closet and never wear.
Yeah, I can't be a cowboy. It's too pricey for me.
No, if you buy boots, those are usually the only shoes you're going to wear. You're just going to wear those, and that's it.
I've got two pairs of boots. One pair I don't like wearing because I had skinnier feet back then, and it kind of hurts. I wore them recently, and it went all right. I never really broke them in. And then the other pair was actually somebody that died, and they were like, hey, here's some boots. I'm like, oh, cool. And it turned out they're full quill ostrich. I'm like, holy shit.
All right.
I used to wear those all the time till I found out how much those cost. And I was walking to work downtown, and my friend's like, why are you walking around with like $600 boots on in Dallas? I'm like, oh, yeah. Did it cost that much? Can I start
walking? Start walking a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's because anytime I'm going to wear those, it's like I got to make sure it hadn't rained recently and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm going to protect these things. All right. I'm going to start today's episode after that weirdness we just did with a vanishing rant. And it doesn't mean my rants are going to vanish unless, y'all don't want me to do them anymore. Anyway.
We love them. No, we love you.
We live in a world today where you can put a microchip in your dog and know where your kid's phone is at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But we still live in a world where people can vanish off the face of the earth.
Yep.
I wish I could play dumb and say I don't know how this can happen, but the answer is obvious, even though most people don't ever seem to want to admit it. We have not settled, tamed, mapped, and civilized as much of this world and country as we like to pretend that we have. If you go right now to up into a skyscraper in Dallas, like up to the top, and you look around, you'll see some roads and highways and buildings, but what you'll see more than anything else, trees.
Yeah.
Dallas is home to the Great Trinity Forest, which is the largest urban hardwood forest in the United States. The metropolitan area has 6,000 acres of forest. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
But it's not just Dallas. Seattle has the highest tree canopy percentage. And if you want to look at things as a nation, over 141 million acres of the United States is urban forest. That isn't counting like the natural parks, the national parks, or any of that other stuff. This is like urban forests. But I'm not here to rant about trees. I like trees. I want to make a point that even our large cities have forested areas that people do disappear in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even counting like horrible, evil behavior like kidnapping and murder. We still have places all over this country that where you make one bad choice or there's some sort of incident and it can leave you somewhere where no one will ever find you.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying we need to be fit with trackers or anything big brothery like that. But at any point in time, there's about 90,000 people missing in the United States. And fortunately, the vast majority of them are found. However, on average, about 6,000 of them aren't solved within a year. And at least according to the World Population Review, there's currently 25,000 unsolved missing person cases right now.
Wow. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that all these missing people are actually missing because they are dead, or are they missing because they don't want to be found, like just runaway type people?
I don't think as many of them are that, because it's hard to get. I mean, it was one thing back in the 20s and 30s where you sit there just, I'm going to go someplace, start a new, new life, have a new name, get a new wife, have new kids. Not quite as easy to do that anymore. I mean, it still happens, but it's very rare. I think most of the time they are people that are taking themselves out of the picture on their own. And in other cases, they were taken, done away with, and then disposed of in such a random way that they can't even search the right spot.
Yeah, like the bottom of the ocean or a lake,
maybe,
or a river.
So as I was saying, about 25,000 unsolved missing person cases right now. That's more people, like a lot more people, than in the small town where Jason and I grew up. Mm-hmm. So where 25,000 might not seem like a lot to other people, that seems like a bunch to me, because that's like 8 of our towns. 25 of them considered. Whenever I first moved there, there's only 1,000 people there.
Yeah, 1,001. 1,001. Don't forget that guy.
Man, my dad was always like, 1,000 nice people and one sore head. So do we need more surveillance? That's a tough call, because whenever you do more surveillance, you get some protection, but you also give authority another tool to possibly abuse the masses with.
Yeah, give us some of that freedom.
So like most rants, I'm angry because there isn't a clear-cut solution, at least not one with potentially horrible consequences. But I think about this stuff because I've been lost in the woods before. And I was very fortunate. I was only lost for about 3 hours, and I found my way back.
But scary feeling.
I was a 16-year-old kid on a hunting trip, and even, I was I never freaked out or anything because I had 4 bullets in my gun. And so at any time, I could have just stayed put, fired 3 shots off in the air, and waited.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a last resort. But I was able to stay calm. But had I, not and panicked, it would have been nice to have a camera being able to pick me out somewhere, or somebody being able to follow me because I have a tracker up my ass. I probably would have appreciated it then. Sitting here on my chair, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want to be tracked. Lost in the woods, you're like, man, I wish people could track me.
Help me!
So think about it, all you people that are smarter than me, and hit us up if you have any solutions, or just solve the problem so that I don't have to worry about it. And I can just sit here and do this show.
Yeah, because even if you were to do a tracker and everybody, like a chip, like you would your pet, it's the same thing as a camera. It kind of takes away.
More so than a camera.
Well, yeah, it could go to places where a camera is usually not.
Like anytime they talk about Elon Musk talking about that Neuralink thing, I'm like, oh hell no, no, nobody's.
You don't want to know my thoughts. Yeah.
Well, as for us, who's not going to come up with solutions or think about this too deep, we're going to jump into this episode that is about a man who disappeared in the area where Jason and I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
On April 21st, 2024, around 6:30 a.m., Waid Robison lost control of his Pontiac GTO on his way to work. He was driving from Mesquite to Forney, Texas, on Highway 80 near the Clements exit when he spun out of control and hit what is described as a concrete pillar. I don't think it was like the bridge pillar.
The
There's been
long
construction
ones.
going over. No, there's been construction going on over there forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was one of those temporary ones that's kind of like the size of a barrel.
Yeah.
Now, I know that exit very well because that was the exit that I used to take to get home just a handful of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, I'm on that road and in that area every couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this guy, Waid, he gets in his car wreck and calls one of his coworkers with Practical Lawn Care and asks them to meet him at the Quick Car on Broad Street, which is the next exit up. There is nothing on Clements except an abandoned gas station, and even that was on the opposite side of the highway of where he was. So it does make sense for him to say, okay, I'm going to walk a mile up the road to that exit and then go into town through that way. And I mean, because it's the only spot, it's the closest spot where there's going to be an open business that was still going the direction he needed to go.
Yeah. At that time.
Yeah. I was not able to find much of anything about Waid as a person. Pretty much that he was an Eagle Scout, played baseball when he was in school, and his family loves him a bunch, like a whole lot. That's about all I could really get out of him as a person. I'm not gonna try to like crack into his social media or anything because I'm not willing to do that for you people yet. All that being said, this is not one of those cases where the police did not take this seriously. Because as Waid walked up that road, that is the last thing that we know. He vanished just off the face of the earth. Just gone. And with it being so weird like that, they have done their very best to track his movements after that car accident. Which they had to do without the aid of his cell phone tracking data, because weird part number one, he left his phone at the scene of the accident. I can't really say for sure if he left it at the scene of the accident because I keep getting mixed stuff. The initial report made it sound like that, but other reports made it sound like they found it out in the field.
Yeah. Anytime you see a cell phone not attached to somebody's back pocket or hand,
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody that leaves their cell phone behind, especially younger people. I mean, this dude was like in his early 20s.
Yeah, especially if you're walking in the dark to another place.
No, it wasn't dark. It wasn't dark. It was early morning.
Either way, you needed a phone to call somebody, and now you're just going to leave it there? No, that don't make sense.
Without the aid of electronics, they tracked him with physical signs. They were able to track him to Buffalo Creek, which feeds into the East Fork Trinity River. Mm-hmm. It's not that it feeds into the river miles away, because you cross the East Fork right before you get to the Clements exit. So that creek is very, very close to the river right there. Mm-hmm. I do want to bring up, like I said, that some people say that his phone wasn't left in his car, that it was found in the trail along the creek. I don't know which one is right, but either way,
it wasn't on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to try to make sense of why he got off the shoulder of the highway, or why he didn't walk on the frontage road that runs parallel to the highway, but I can't. The highway and the frontage road is a straight shot to Broad Street, which is where he was headed. There wasn't any kind of shortcut that would make cutting through the river bottoms an actual shortcut. I mean, all he had to do was walk in a straight line.
Yeah.
Cutting through here did nothing.
Right.
The East Fork Trinity is not a giant river. I mean, it's, for the most part, it's generally never a roaring and rushing river. It is a glorified creek for the most part.
Unless it rains and the whole thing's flooded.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. I checked the United States Geological Survey's records for the Eastport Trinity River near Forney on that day throughout various times that, on that actual day, and you could look at it hourly, and throughout various times that morning, it was actually one of its heavier time. The discharge in that river where they were measuring it over by Forney, the discharge was around 9,700 cubic feet of water per second.
That's a lot.
For perspective, just a couple weeks before that, it was 89 cubic feet of water per second. So it was 100 times more. So in the terms of the East Fork, it was in one of its more rushing times.
Yeah, it was moving.
Which leads me to believe that Buffalo Creek probably was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been deeper. But I can't tell you how deep because even with rainfall and all this, the depths of the rivers and the creeks and all that, it varies. There's no consistent depth. It goes up and down. I mean, there are parts of the Trinity that even in its deepest time are only like 4 feet deep, but can be like 30 feet deep later.
It's a weird river.
It is, yeah. But when they tracked him, it showed him initially. So he's walking on the frontage road, and he leaves it, and he goes to a gate, a locked gate. And when he gets to the locked gate, it's like, oh, well, I can't get through this. And he ends up cutting to, I think, just based off the map, looks like he cuts to the right and starts walking towards the creek. The last of his footprints appear like as if he went into the creek. And then from there, there's no signs that he ever got out. And whenever I say footprints, I mean footprints because for some unknown reason, he did not have shoes on. Now, there's, like I said, I don't have data on the depth of the creek. But being that the river was up at the time, we can assume that the creek was deeper than normal at the same time. A volunteer tracker, like this dude, that's what he does with his volunteer time. He goes out and tries to track people on this, as well as Rapid Water Rescue searched all that area. So they searched the creek, they searched the river. They never found a thing.
What year was this again?
This is 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like his 22, 23-year-old kid. And that leaves us now with nothing but theories because there have been no other updates than, he gets those updates now of like his mom still misses him, worries about him, hopes they'll find him. But yeah, there's been nothing new found.
What about the footprints? Are they confirmed to be his for sure? Like
I don't think
for sure as you can
dude,
be.
You know the river bottoms. Think about where that is in Fort. Nobody walks around out there. It'd be one thing if they found it by the actual river, because then some people go out and fish there. But with him going off out through a field into the trees over by the creek, there's no other footprints it could be.
I'm saying rolling him getting hit out of they ruled out him getting hit by a car.
I'm about to go for theories if you let me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about to just spitball theories. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. The prevailing theory is that in his car accident, he may have hit his head and it impeded his decision making.
Okay.
There wasn't any blood in the car, so he might have underestimated his own well-being since there wasn't an external injury. It's like, oh, I'm not gushing blood. I must be fine. Concussion think. Furthermore, it would also kind of explain that nonsensical choice to walk through the river bottoms barefoot. Then, while he's all loopy from concussion or whatever, or head trauma, he attempts to cross the creek. He gets swept away, possibly drowned. Then the creek carries him to the river being up at the time, pumping water out more than normal, would be able to get him away faster.
Yeah.
So that's one. That's one theory. Another possibility: it's spring and the river's up because of the recent rain, and we have loads of water moccasins, copperheads, and cottonmouths. Being barefoot around venomous snakes is not ideal.
No, no, especially around there.
Yeah, whether it is a head injury, snake bite, or both, those are not ideal states to get into moving water. I won't call it rushing water because I don't want to overhype the East Fork the East Fork at all. But
No, any type of water
further,
that's moving is usually underestimated how powerful it is.
yeah, and to go a little bit further, say he does have he's injured either while attempting to cross the creek, he gets snake bit, or maybe he's just succumbing to a head injury, something along those lines. Say he gets out of the river somewhere or the creek. The river bottoms itself is not an easy place to recover remains. The the short vegetation, the underbrush, the grasses, they're all super duper duper thick for one. But more so, there's the feral hogs. Now, I'm not trying to be gross, but we do have a huge feral hog infestation in Texas, and they
Yes,
love
we
that
do.
thick underbrush. Now, for those of you who do not know what a feral hog is, it is not a wild boar. It is not a warthog. Get those out of your head. These are pigs that descend from farm pigs that got loose a long time ago and kept reproducing. And they're an invasive species.
Yes, they
And
are.
so they reproduce a lot.
Yep.
They're sexually mature after 6 months, and a female can produce litters of 4 to 12 piglets twice a year. They're breeding faster than we can kill them. And boy, we have killed them. My daughter has killed one before.
Yeah, Preston and Connor just killed one last weekend. Giant sucker.
Yeah. They are such a problem that Texas made it legal to hunt them with machine guns from helicopters. And people do that recreationally.
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon.
They are very, very destructive, and they eat anything, including animal carcasses, including other hog carcasses. And if you see where I'm going with this, then you see another possibility of why they can't find his remains. There's no one really vocalizing that theory a whole lot, but I mean, I think anybody around here would kind of think that it was a possibility.
That makes a good sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Another thing that I'm not hearing is that he did the whole I'm going to go off and seek a new life, and it's a very understandable for that. Nobody, gets into a car wreck in Forney, Texas, and decides to begin a new life. There's nowhere to go. Where are you gonna go? I want to start a new life. I'm going to begin by going to a fucking Walmart. No.
Oh, so you walked in the wrong direction.
Yeah. But knowing that we do have some listeners in Forney, Waid Robison was last seen wearing a long sleeve gray shirt with "Practical Lawn Care" written on it in yellow lettering, along with khaki pants. He was 22 years old, 5'7", with light brown hair and blue eyes. Pretty skinny too, like 150 pounds. If you saw him, seen him, or somehow find something of his, you can call the Forney Police Department at 972-552-6625 and reference case number 2024-07715. Now you can ask me questions about this guy before I go on to the next bit.
What time of year was this?
April. It was in April. It was
not hot enough to get dehydrated.
No. And my thing is whenever you look out even when you look at a map, you're like, okay, that little chunk of woods is not big. And it's not huge, but it's still more than enough to get lost in, especially if you hurt your head. I mean, because that's the big thing. I mean, he spun out, wrecked his car, and on top of that, it was an older car. It was a Pontiac GTO. They're not exactly known for their safety features.
Yeah. You don't feel everything from that wreck.
So I do kind of lean with the theory that he did bash his head pretty good or something, because those steering wheels back then were hard. They still are hard. They just don't have airbags anymore. I mean, they just didn't have airbags back then. So I mean, in all likelihood, he probably did wander off out there, made a concussion decision. So
Did they find his shoes?
they were in the car.
Oh, so he left them behind before he started
I
walking. He
think they're
didn't
in the
take them off.
car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't take them off along the way. Which my thing was like, if he was going to like an indoor job, I could almost see him doing it if he planned on like walking, off road like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he was landscaper,
He was
getting
wearing some
muddy's
kind
part
of
of the
boots.
part of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. Weird.
So I mean, it's a strange thing. It's very peculiar. I mean, but for the most part, there's nothing weird about the kid at all. It's just seemed to be bad luck and an odd thing that happened. All right.
Well,
Well, I'm going to move now to another mystery that is from mine and Jason's area. Jason and I worked and or lived in Mesquite, Texas for at least 10 years. On the low end. It was probably more than that. Mesquite is a bigger town than Forney and is actually on Forney's western border. So we didn't exactly go far. That was
the
that
next
was
big
where
city.
that was
Yeah.
where that's where things were back when we were kids. It's like, oh, we got to go to Mesquite if we want to go to restaurants or the mall or whatever.
Or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that was where we went and hung out. Try to pick up chicks.
Try to.
Yeah. Another person that lived in Mesquite was Prisma Reyes. On April 17th, 2019, her son's babysitter called 911 to report her missing after she failed to pick her son up. Fortunately, this is not one of those cases, which I will say is probably the minority, where the cops didn't take it seriously. So it's another one where they did what they needed to do. They began looking for her that very day. What one of those, let's wait till tomorrow bullshit. Mesquite got to work immediately. Initially, what they learned is that Prisma moved to the U.S. from Veracruz, Mexico when she was a kid. She was pretty bright and learned how to speak English in just a few months.
Oh, wow.
While she was in high school, she got a scholarship. She joined the National Guards and eventually became a paralegal.
Oh, hey now.
She had her son in 2014, and at the time of her disappearance, she had 3 jobs. She was a paralegal. She was a dancer. She was very, 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 very pretty, so makes sense. And she had recently started another job at a used car dealership.
When you say dancer, you mean the nighttime type dancers?
I mean the nighttime type dancers, which it's one of those things. I don't hold it against her because there's a damn good chance I might have been at one of the clubs. So
I may have given her $20 at one time. I don't know.
maybe I probably would have, but as pretty as she was, I think I probably would remember, be like, oh, I remember her, but you never know. So they also began retracing her steps that day. She began her day with an altercation at her new car dealership job all over a parking spot. She apparently got a good parking spot that some other employee that had been there forever considered their own. That shit irritates me. I don't give a fuck how long you've been there. I mean, there are days I have a preferred parking spot where I park every day at work. And sometimes when I get to work, somebody else is parked there. And I'm like, ugh. And then I go park somewhere else.
Yeah. You don't have a name on it.
Yeah. So whoever's getting pissed off about that, if you're one of our listeners, fuck you. Don't be such a cunt. All right. Well, then Prisma went out for lunch at E-Bar Tex-Mex on Haskell Avenue in East Dallas. There, she ate lunch with her ex-boyfriend. They left together, but then she returned shortly after and continued to drink there until the bartender refused to serve her anymore. She got upset, a drink was spilled, then she left. The next thing they caught on camera was her driving over a curb, so all the evidence is kind of pointing at this point that she's pretty drunk. She's intoxicated. After that, at 5:05 p.m., a call to 911 described a woman matching Prisma's appearance and her vehicle that was involved in a road rage incident where Prisma brandished a pistol and pointed it at the other person's car. From there, following her phone, the pings, it appears that she was driving towards Mesquite. She gets a call that nobody says who it was from. But from there, she did a U-turn and went right back to Dallas.
Booty call.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to get to it. She illegally parks in an alleyway by her ex-boyfriend's apartment, by his apartment complex, and that's over on Ross Avenue. She exits her Jeep, leaves her gun in the passenger seat. She's then seen on camera stumbling to the apartment's elevator, where she takes it to a higher floor. She exits the elevator and she's crying. And from there, no one has any idea where she went. Now, initially, everyone's thinking, well, it's got to be the ex.
Mm-hmm.
But you're wrong. He has a very solid alibi. He was not at his apartment, and there is plenty of video evidence that supports it. So, actual hard evidence showing that he was not there. And for the most part, after that, that's really all that the Mesquite Police Department's really willing to tell anyone. The last comment that I saw from the Mesquite Police Department was they have no active leads and are hoping to get a tip or something to get the case going again. Which now, it leads us to theories. Many people believe she met with some sort of foul play in that building. However, there's nothing concrete to support that other than the fact that there's nothing ever showing that she left the building. Some people also want to look at the baby daddy on this, but he wasn't even in the same state as her. He wasn't even in Texas at the time whenever she disappeared. Her stepfather believes that Prisma's drinks had been drugged because how intoxicated she was. He thinks that she got roofied. He also thinks that maybe someone that she met at her dancer job would be involved, which, as a dad who has the Chris Rock philosophy of keeping your daughter off the pole, if I was in his spot, I would inevitably want to blame the job too. That, however, is an emotional assumption, and there's no evidence indicating that that is actually the case. The baby daddy believes that she walked away, that she found a way out, and she just ran off. Both him and Prisma's stepdad reported getting strange calls from Mexico at night since her disappearance. However, her stepdad doesn't think that the calls are from her. I'm guessing he thinks it's possibly the guy that she met at the strip club or, whoever heard her. But yeah, he thinks that she went back down to Mexico and is just living down there. Now, this all leads me to my theory. And I don't mean that mean it in the sense that I think I'm right, but I think it's a possibility that I personally haven't seen explored. Whenever I see this case, I think of the case of Larry Eli Murillo Moncada, who, unknown to everyone else, bless you,
Snug up on me.
No, well, who, unknown to everyone else, got stuck behind a freezer at a supermarket. Ooh. He died behind that freezer and was not found for 10 years.
Holy shit, like a big walking
He was
freezer?
Missing. Yeah. He was at a supermarket, big freezer. He was like trying to climb up on top of it or something along those lines and fell behind it, suffocated and died.
Oh my God.
Didn't get found for 10 years. I think of Bernard Gore. He died in Australia after he accidentally got locked in a service corridor in a mall. The Australian cops did a shit job searching for him, and his body wasn't found for 3 weeks. And he was just sitting down in the service corridor. Once they actually found him, they looked at the tapes and were like, holy shit. Saw this poor guy basically dehydrating, starving to death or whatever.
Oh, no.
I think of Harley Dilly. He was a 14-year-old kid that went missing. And after 23 days, they found him in the chimney of an abandoned house. It appears as if he tried to get into the house through the chimney and it kind of asphyxiated. But what I'm getting at is, what if she's still in that apartment complex? Did she try to get into her ex's apartment through a vent? Did she somehow go into the elevator shaft? I just think that there's nothing showing that she left, and they need to look at what would seem like impossible spots in that building. That's what I would think. But I'm just some guy. What do I know? I just think that since there's nothing showing she left, just get out there and look. So if you do know something about Prisma's whereabouts that day or her emotional state, which for the most part, anybody that did interact with her said she was super upset that day, even if you think it is not useful, let the cops decide that. You can call the Mesquite Police Department at 972-285-6336. And that's going to do it for the episode.
Well, I have a quick theory, or a quick 2 cents. Okay. With her being a dancer, there is no way she can't hold her own booze. There is no way she can not drink and get that intoxicated without having some sort of push, sort of drug in it.
So what you're doing there is, one, anecdotal, and two, a bit more of a generalization. There's plenty of dancers that don't drink. I mean, and I know the ones that do, they do a lot.
Well, this one obviously does.
I don't know. I don't know.
Experience.
Honestly, she probably danced at bars I didn't go to, so I wouldn't know how they would operate.
I would think they would need to be able to hold their liquor because they're going to get drink spot form. They're going to need that liquid courage to get up on stage, and I don't want to see a stripper, not a dancer, losing her cool over drinking too much.
I don't know. Just tolerance is a weird thing. Your job does not dictate your tolerance.
Well, I mean, it does depend what you're drinking. Yeah.
I mean, I will admit one of my big hesitations, like if any of my daughters were like, I'm going to go be a dancer at a club, my first terrified thought, besides, a bunch of guys looking at my daughters naked, is drugs. There's a ton of drugs back there, and unfortunately, a lot of them end up on drugs. And it's just that would be my main worry, is be like, please stay off drugs. Please, 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 please. So, any other thoughts on either of the cases?
Now, you say she came off crying. They caught her coming off the elevator crying, like on the bottom floor, or coming off the top floor?
Whenever on the top floor, when she had the elevator, she was crying. And people that did see her on the elevator that day also said she was crying.
Okay, so it wasn't after she went up there, looked around, and came back down. It was top floor.
She went up, and as far as we know, she never came down.
Okay. Wow. Hope they find her.
All right. Well, now whenever I was on this episode, I came across the Waid Robison disappearance, and I was shocked that I'd never heard about any of this. I mean, it's right there. Right,
it was only a year ago. Yeah.
So I'm making the assumption that since I didn't know, even though I intentionally don't watch the news, that there are other people out there that don't know about this, and hopefully this will get them out there. As for Prisma, I used to hear about this one pretty often. This one I actually, some of the true crime stuff and that I listen to and watch, hers has come up, but over time the information has just dried up, and so it's just getting those anniversary articles now, where it's just like, oh, it's been a year since she disappeared. But whenever it comes to these hit a little bit different because they're local. These are places that we drive through and past all the time, and like whenever I'll go through Forney, like I said, I go through there once every couple weeks over on 80, and as soon as I'm over by the Clements exit, I just kind of look over there and I'm like, he was right here. And where's he now? But as I stated at the beginning, I've already been lost in the woods once, so I'm not going to go out there and end up giving them someone else to search for. Plus, I hate snakes. So, trackers and police, good luck finding them. I hope you'll find them. And that's going to do it for this episode. Join us next time, unless Jason tries to play the hero and gets himself snake bit or lost in the woods. If he plays it smart and stays his ass home, he'll tell us some stuff that'll make us say, wait, what?
Yes, I will.
All right, good. You stay home.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bye, everybody.
Later.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Waywut. This show's available on YouTube, Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. We love to hear from you. Please comment on what you just listened to, pass along episode ideas, or just talk to us at Waywut Podcast in our Facebook group or on TikTok, Instagram, or X. Again, we really appreciate you joining us. Come back again to hear about some stuff that will make you say, wait, what?